Up next was nationals. This is still 2018 we're talking about.
Yes.
So you come in, you weigh in a kilo lighter. You had a 157.5 squat, 90 bench, 200.5 deadlift for 448 total, and that's a 28 kilo increase from North Islands. This time you're lifting conventional.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the deadlift. Why in particular that weight, 200 and a half, and you're injured prior to this comp. You couldn't deadlift, and you kind of had like a 3-week prep. Talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so I can't even remember what it was, but I was just deadlifting one day about 5 weeks out and pulled something on the side, and I couldn't even deadlift a bar without pain. So we scrapped that, brought it back in 2.5 weeks out, and I think that's where we learned that taking my deadlifts out early on in the prep kind of helps with what numbers I pull on the day. But I was not expecting, the plan was always 200, but as soon as I got that little niggle, I just thought, oh God, I'll be happy for 190. But 185 moved okay, and he said, do you want it? And I said, do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the benefit, you know, the longer you can be working with your coach, and you can kind of build that relationship, athlete-coach relationship, and you can understand how you work a little bit better. So we'll kind of segue a little bit. So talk to us about, you know, what you do with regards to programming. I've heard things about the dreaded red days on your programs, and I see there's a lot of variations, without getting too technical for people that don't have much of an understanding, but kind of West Side-esque block pulls and chains and bands and reverse bands and things like that. Talk to me a little bit about how your training kind of runs.
So it changes all the time. He comes up with different types of programs, and sometimes we need him to tell us how to read it because it's changed. But basically, sort of green, yellow, red. So green being a light day, and then red being probably max out. And I think I'm a little bit different to most people at our gym, where I have that a lot of max outs and low reps, and lots of variations, so chains, bands.
And you find your body responds quite well to that?
Yeah, it seems to.
Working well so far, eh?
Yeah, working well so far.
All right, so if we get back onto the track, talking about the comps, November of that year, you get a letter of invitation to World Powerlifting Oceanias in Brisbane in December. So it's your first international competition. You're in a new weight class. Talk to us about that.
I was thinking a little bit about that me deciding to go down to 63s, and when we moved to WP it was 64, so it sort of seemed like, okay, that's a little bit easier. I was probably running away from the number 172 at the time, so I thought I could do a bit more at 64. Cut down there, did okay for my first comp at a 64.
Well, we'll talk about that. You cut from 71 to 63, 155 squat, 92.5 bench, and missed your first crack at a 205 deadlift. Gold medal, total record in the new Fed, 466 Wilks. Can you remember much about the comp?
It was really, really hot. There was no aircon, there was no fans, so we were all very sticky. But it was so fun, like traveling. I think that was where Stan was as well. So it was an awesome group of people to travel with and experience your first international comp with.
And then following on from that comp was the 2019 Sydney Fitness Show in April. This time your cut was a little bit more challenging. Second comp at under 64, come away with a 158 squat. You missed 205 on the deadlift again, but talk to us about what happened with the bench.
Oh man, I just bombed. And I didn't even know what bombing was back then. I thought I could
So explain what bombing means for people that might not understand.
So you miss all 3 lifts, and that disqualifies you from getting a total.
You remember the weight?
85, something I'd done heaps of times before, but it just wasn't moving.
What can you attribute it to, do you think?
I didn't think the cut was that hard. You know, I wasn't dehydrating. It was purely liquid diet and dieting down. Warm-ups were fine. It just, I don't know, just some shit happens or doesn't.
It sure does.